Hi everyone, welcome to Disc Golf Valley Tips and Tricks, and today we are taking a look at Kaho Park. This is kind of an interesting course, a little bit different than the rest. The concept behind it is that previously this was a regular golf course that has been turned into a disc golf course. Apparently in this city, everybody gave up regular golf and everybody picked up disc golf, and so they turned this course into a disc golf. But that gives you a lot of bunkers that show up on this course, and if your disc lands in a bunker, it costs you a point, so you got to watch out for those. All right, we're starting out with a very strong wind. Taking a look at our bag, we can see several discs could work on this. I would probably pick between the Ballista that we picked up a couple of courses back, or the Rive roll disc, the beach ball disc. They basically have the same flight path. So if you see me working with the beach ball, but you haven't purchased that, you can just substitute out the Ballista disc and follow my same line, and you should be very, very close to what I'm doing here. All right, with this really strong wind, definitely want to bring down the pointer quite a bit. That'll minimize the effect of the wind. But even then, we'll put quite a strong anhyzer on this and let the wind bring us back. That's probably, well, yeah, that's kind of what we want. Nicely behind a bush. But if we slide over, I think we'll see this enough that we can get through. Let's take our fuse. It has a little bit more, a little heavier than the Pure, I think. And with that 4-speed wind and a 14-meter distance, something like about that. And I'd maybe just put a little bit extra on it to get through those leaves and into the basket. But let's play this again because the wind might change on us. And yeah, not much. Oh, it's in the opposite direction, huh? So that's good. Let's take the Ballista this time. And with the wind in that direction, we probably wouldn't put much of an anhyzer on this at all. Hopefully that doesn't go into the bunker. We're okay. Three-speed wind. Bring that chevron down and straight in. Ooh. Sometimes the 3-speed winds will get you, even though you compensate. Let's maybe run it one more time. All right, normal winds. Let's go back to our beach ball disc. Did that roll right behind the tree? Look at that. Let's slide over. I think we'll be okay. All right, that's pretty much the line on hole number 1. Let's move on. All right, hole number 2. And there's a couple different ways that you can play this. If you look at the map up in the corner there, you see one way is to go all the way down the fairway and then come all the way back to the basket. But because it's a par 5, there's a good chance you can get an eagle on this, and so that's always nice, especially when you're going for your 3-star run. The other way is taking the shortcut across the hill, either by throwing or rolling your disc. And if you play that right, you can get an albatross on this hole. And so that helps as well. Let's show you both ways. Let's do the fairway first, and I think we'll go for our Zeus on this. And in this wind, we'll switch it to forehand and pull straight back, I would say. It has quite a turn on a forehand. Hopefully we'll sneak through here, not end out of bounds. All right, and from here, 113 to the basket, but we're going against a 3 strength wind, So I think I'll probably just go for the Rive disc here. Shooting against the wind, you need a little bit extra disc. And we'll put a little anhyzer on that. This disc has a tendency to fade. Probably put a little too much on that. But 15 meters to the basket, we should be good. For the eagle. All right, let's play it one more time. I think let's go for a Zeus, switch it to forehand, and I think let's maybe try skipping across the end of the out of bounds area there and see what happens. Oh, we made it across. That's kind of a little risky. And it doesn't really help you that much. But it's just kind of fun. All right, probably the PD, but hold up a bit. 86 meters to the basket. Ooh. Oh, was it going to go in? Look at that. Well, there you go, an albatross. Okay, let's take a look at the other way. Now, in a 4-strong wind, I probably wouldn't try this. But the idea is to grab your roll. I usually take my chevron pointer there, line it up with this tree, and then just bring it down to the shadow of where the grass changes color there. But in this strong wind, I might just put it over a little bit. Compensate a little bit. And then the idea is to take your disc and bring it past the end, and so it turns into a roller disc, and then let it go and cross your fingers. Hope for the best. This is looking good. Sometimes it just goes lines right up to the basket there, and then it's an easy toss in for another albatross. And it's always nice to get an albatross here, especially when you're going for your 3 stars. That gives you an extra couple of points to play with there. But moving on, this hole here, again, either the ballista or the roll disc works here. And we're fighting a strong wind. And so I'll put a little bit more of an anhyzer on this and let the wind bring us back. Ooh, wasn't quite enough. Sometimes the 4-wind takes it a little further than what you would like. Let's see if we can get this come back. You really don't like missing this one, because if you go past the basket like that, ooh, good. If you go over the basket, then you're usually in the bunker for an extra point off. So that is a par, and when you're going for your 3-star run, that is not enough. All right, let's maybe try the ballista this time, and let's say point it in this wind, point it about there. Just put a little bit of an anhyzer on it, and it should come back. Land fairly close. Slid away a bit more than what we'd like, but I think we'll be fine. I think we'll do this one more time. It is a little bit tricky. You've probably already discovered. Let's see if we can't do something better with this ballista disc. In this strong wind, I pointed about there and still put a little bit of an anhyzer on it. Usually, if it does go into the bunker, it comes back up out of the hole. Well, we should still be good. All right. Hole number 4. Now, this is kind of an interesting hole. They make it so the rules, I'm not sure what rules they're following here, but the idea is if you go out of bounds here, you have to start back where you threw. And so you want to do your best not to go out of bounds. And it's usually, well, you can see in the map up there, but it's kind of defined by the first fence. And then from your drive, you need to get it into the second area there with the basket without going out of bounds, or you have to start over again. Not completely over, but, well, let's see how it goes here. Let's go for our Zeus disc, and I think point it down to about here, put a little bit of an anhyzer on it. Let it come back around. A nice skip. And then let's check our distance and the wind. That's important on this hole. Let's move to lie, and 79 meters. So the fuse is not going to make it, even though they're recommending it. It's not going to make it into the area, probably. So we got to disc up a little bit. I think we'll just go with the PD and just hold back on the PD a little bit. Don't bring it all the way down. Something like this should be good. And then it should just stick the landing. Come back for our birdie. And well, occasionally you might get a eagle on this hole. It's more likely you'll get a birdie or worse. Let's play it again. So watch the wind here. Because of that, we'll probably put a little bit more of an anhyzer on that, because if you don't, if you like even straight down, would probably take that disc off the fence, out of the fence, and you'd have to start over. So a little bit of an anhyzer on that. And hopefully that doesn't go out. Ooh, a little bit more power and that would have just slid up the fence and out of bounds. You'd have to play it over again. So maybe in the 3-strong wind you might want to just hold back a little bit on that Zeus. Really depends on the distance driver you're working with, but it's good to have a bouncer on your drive on this one. So for this distance, we could definitely use our fuse and maybe even try to pop it in. Somewhat challenging with that 3 wind. I would say maybe down to about here in that wind, and really drop down there. While the wind has a tendency to lift the disc in the first 30 meters or so, after about 40 meters, it really drops down fast, and we just saw that. All right, well, you might want to spend some time on that. That can be a tricky hole. This one, the best play on this is a 10 speed, and I usually slide over, find the center part of this, and depending on the wind, I might put just a little bit of a hyzer on this. And going this way, you have a straight shot at the basket coming back. And if you go the opposite direction, you could end up behind a bush and lose a point. So this is a little bit cleaner. Just worried about my cameraman here, what on earth he's doing. Yeah, there we go. Not much else to show you. That's about the only line that... All right, hole number 6, and this hole actually can give you another opportunity to get an eagle. In this 4-strong wind, I don't know, but sometimes it's more difficult to line up a shot that doesn't go out of bounds in a 4-strong wind, especially when you're working with a skip disc. But a skip disc is about the only way that you can get close enough to the basket to get your eagle. So with that wind, I'm going to put quite a bit of an anhyzer on this and let the wind bring it around. And then from there, of course, 4-speed wind is always a little bit more challenging. Yeah. Ooh. Close but no cigar, and yet we can still come back for our birdie. And let's maybe play it one more time, see if we can't pick up that eagle or show you an eagle. I hate to disappoint. All right, we'll use the Zeus. It's really about the only disc we have in our bag right now that will work on this. And let's see, in this wind, probably a little bit of a hyzer on that, I think. This Zeus has a tendency to turn quite a bit. Ooh, we hit a leaf. That really slows you down sometimes. You lose some distance. But 35 out. Let's see if we can't get this. There we go. So there's your eagle. Now, if you don't have the discs in your bag, don't worry. Let's say we only had a 10 speed. It can get you far enough down the road to then do a layup to the basket. So don't feel bad if you don't have the disc or you haven't purchased the discs. You can still do okay on that. Okay, next hole. This is actually another hole where you can get an eagle. Again, we used our Zeus. I usually put it down about here and then put a little bit of an anhyzer on that. And what does that leave us? 134. So I think I could probably get away with the roll disc, the windbreak rive. The problem is, if it lands in the bunker, there's a bunker right before the basket. If it lands, it's just going to stick the landing and we'll lose a point. That's what I'm talking about. So it would have probably been better to use the Zeus there. But because it's a par 5, we can still get our eagle. And let's play it again and be a little smarter this time. Watch that wind. We probably wouldn't put as much of an anhyzer on this time. Ooh, this might put us in another bunker. Hold up. Okay, good. All right, 120 meters this time, but we're going against the wind, so I think I'm just going to get out the Zeus and maybe hold up a little bit. Don't bring it all the way down. And then come back for our eagle. So there you go. Okay, now this is a frustrating hole for new players. I know it sure was for me. I tried every disc in my bag and just could not find a good way to get inside the little enclosure there. And that's what you have to do if you look at your map. Everything else is out of bounds, and they make you come back to the tee pad to try again. But I have found about the best disc that you can use is the Explorer disc. And usually I just point it right about there, and then depending on the wind is how much hyzer I will put on it. And in this strong wind, I'll probably go something like that. And it usually makes it inside the enclosure fairly nicely and doesn't roll too far or slide too far. for a fairly easy comeback to get your birdie. Now this wind you have to be careful, but should be okay. Ooh, I spit out. I saw the cameraman move on me there at the last second. So that can be a little bit frustrating when you're going for your 3-star, but if you have an albatross and 3 eagles in your back pocket, it's not going to be a problem. Let's replay this again. 7 and about there, and again, it's probably safer to go about half a hyzer on this rather than just going straighter because of the wind being different. Because of what can happen is if you're too straight, you can go past the basket and into the lake. So it's better to err on the side of, yeah. I should lift that up just a bit. I have found on this hole that you almost have to bring it down just a little bit further than normal. There we go. All right. Hole number 9, the last hole. And you'll notice the arch there. You have to get through the arch. That's what they call that, a triple mando or something. You have to thread the needle. And so depending on the discs that you have in your bag, you might need to practice this one to get that shot down with whatever disc you decide to go with. You might have to set your practice mode to hole number 9 so you can keep repeating it in different wind conditions and just really learn what you need to do to thread the hole. I have found with the Grace here, it usually goes in just point front and center and pull straight back, and in it goes. But if you don't have a Grace, I should stop talking when I'm throwing. Let's try that again. The Grace, and in this wind, I'd probably point it to about there, and then still just pull straight back. Forget what I was trying to say when I missed my shot. 11, I think I'll just still change it to a backhand, and the pure 3 is fairly straight. We haven't been using it, I know, but you can pretty much work it like the fuse. All right, I'd recommend spending some time on that, but as far as our walkthrough, I think I've showed you what I wanted to show you. And we'll call it a day. We'll call it a video. I hope you were able to pick up a few tips today and help you on your way to your 3 stars on this one. It should be fairly easy. I think you'll get it just fine. No worries. And if you want to see how I do it, be sure to come back. We'll show you our 3-star run. But for today, we'll say so long. Take care. Catch you next time.